Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kitan Isawumi. I'm going into my sophomore year at UNC Charlotte. I'm making this video because I want to share things that I've learned and experienced my freshman year and hopefully help any of you guys who are going into your freshman year, really any year of college. In making this video, I just kept thinking, what would I have needed to know going into my freshman year? What would I have wanted to be aware of or learn about or different things like that? So kicking it off, the probably most important thing I learned, honestly, was time management. As an electrical engineer, I obviously had a crazy class schedule and a lot of homework, but even if you don't have a lot of classes or homework, it is super easy to get caught up in clubs, hanging out with friends, going places, just doing all the fun college experience things, and you will easily find yourself stressed, overscheduled. Losing track of time is so easy in college. So time management is one of the most important things I learned my freshman year, and you really need to learn it quick, because if you don't, you'll end up being stressed and overscheduled, and then everything, classes, friendships, clubs, orgs, all that stuff ends up taking a hit because you failed to manage your time well. So one tip I would give to make sure you manage your time well your freshman year is set a schedule. Have a schedule, have a calendar, whether it's on your phone, whether you have a paper one or you have one on your wall. Have a schedule, because some things in college are planned ahead, but a lot of times they'll be planned either an hour before they're happening or maybe a day. And so you need to know if you have stuff planned, when it's planned, because when you're making last second scheduled things or last second friend hangouts, whatever it may be, you need to know if you have something already scheduled for that time. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up missing it, or you're gonna be balancing two different events in a 2-hour block, and it's just not favorable. Another tip I would give, leading off of that last note, is leave time in your schedule for random things to happen, because random things will happen in college. Like, just expect it to happen. Do not plan every hour block of your day or of your weekend, because I promise you, random things will come up and you will wish you had time for them. So leave room for random events, random things to happen in your schedule, so that when they do happen, you can go there or you can do those things. So make sure you leave room in your schedule for random events or plans or hangouts to happen. Another really important thing I learned my freshman year of college is learning study habits. You need to figure out the way you learn best, and you need to figure it out soon, because if you wait until that first exam comes up and you bomb the first one, maybe you're lucky and your class drops your worst exam, then you need to figure it out by the second exam, because you're on your own when it comes to your schoolwork. Yes, there's tutors, yes, there's peer mentoring, maybe, if you have that at your college, but doing your assignments and turning them in, especially since most of them are online, that's your responsibility. And so you need to figure out how you can study the best, what you learn best. Maybe you're a visual learner, an audio learner, whatever it may be, hands-on. You need to figure out how you learn best and find a space to do that in. I got blessed my freshman year. I had my own room. I just shared a living room and bathroom with 3 other people, but a lot of dorms are 2-person dorms, and so you will not necessarily have the privacy or quiet time you need in your dorm. So you need to find a consistent space to go and study and figure out what you need in that space. So maybe you need to go to a study room in the library. Maybe you just need a group room in your dorm or outside. Maybe it's a classroom space in one of your buildings. Whatever it may be, you need to find that and find it fast, because you don't want to start the semester off doing really bad and then spend the rest of your semester catching up in all of your classes. Speaking of classes, the third thing I learned freshman year is how to balance my classes and schoolwork with my clubs and organizations and free time and friend hangouts, because time is short and you will not have time to do everything you want to. So you need to figure out how to balance those. And the best tip I would give is to prioritize what you need, and then have a list of things you need to get done as far as schoolwork, classes that you need to go to, because I would not advise anyone to skip classes. However, there were some classes I knew I could skip last year. And so the classes I couldn't skip, those were priority. I had to go to those classes. The homework that needed to get done the soonest, those were priorities. The exams coming up the closest, those were priority that week. Also, within my clubs and orgs, I was a part of 3 different clubs last year, so I had them prioritized. If I didn't have time, I would start from the bottom of the list. Least priority, gone. Or if something came up and I needed extra time, I'd go to the bottom of the list and clear that out so I would have time. So that's why it's important to make sure you have a priority set of between your classes, your homework, your exams, when those all need to be done, and then within your clubs and free time, whatever you're doing in your free time, prioritize that as well, so you know how to manage your time well within balancing your classes and your extracurricular activities. The fourth thing I learned, and this is, I keep saying everything's important, but this is really, really important. Trust me. Community, the importance of a community, and a good community, because you need to make sure that the people you surround yourself with are taking you to a place that you want to be in. Because if you want to be a good student, gets good grades, and turns in stuff on time, and maybe you're the type of person who doesn't want to skip any classes, but if you surround yourself with people who are always skipping class, you're going to be tempted to skip class too. For me as a Christian, it's very important that I surround myself with other Christians, because if I don't, then I'm slowly going to become more like the people I'm around. And so if they're not Christian, I'm going to become more non-Christian. And so my friend group personally had to be good Christians. And obviously I had plenty of friends who weren't Christians, classmates and all that, and I was good friends with them. But my inner circle were people who I wanted to be like, people who inspired me, who were constantly encouraging me, and even giving me things I could do better. So yeah, that community is very, very important for who you want to become in college. And within that community, have older friends, have friends or mentors, peers, whatever you want to call it, that are in a similar field or club as you. So they went through similar things that you will go through your freshman year, so that they can help you through it. I had mentors my freshman year, and without them, I would not have made it through, because they gave me some essential key advice, from basic things like best dining halls on campus, fastest ways to get places, and even spiritual things. Like my mentors also helped me spiritually with my faith and keeping my faith in college. But there's so many needs for mentors in college. So find older friends who can help you navigate life during your freshman year in college. Ooh, this is a really good tip. Personal growth is a huge thing I learned. I think it's really overlooked, because again, I started this off with time management. Time runs away from you, and some people might struggle with finding time to take care of themselves. And so it is very important when you're scheduling out your week, your day, schedule a break, free time, you time, whatever you need to do, because it's easy to get busy in college and then you're doing all these things, you're going to all these random spontaneous events, your classes, clubs, and then you don't have any time for yourself. You don't have any time to breathe, to chill. And so make sure you take care of yourself. I've always been kind of a gym rat, so finding time and scheduling time to go to the gym was a big important thing for me, but not everybody's a gym person. So whatever your personal care routine looks like, just make sure you put that in your time scheduling. Again, the importance of breaks. Like, it is very important. Do not overschedule yourself. Do not overbook yourself. It's okay to have busy weeks, because you will have a few busy weeks, busy days, crazy days. Like, that's inevitable. But don't make it too frequent. After a few busy weeks, you take a day off, or whatever that looks like. And there's built-in breaks within college, but just make sure you're not too busy to where you're not getting any sleep and you're not taking care of yourself, you're not eating, you're not taking care of your fitness, whatever that looks like. Just make sure you have enough time for your own personal care. Okay, the last piece of advice, and this is the most important. Trust me, this one's important. I said the last ones were important, but they weren't as important as this one. Trust me. Prioritize God. Put God first. Because if you do not intentionally put God first in your schedule, your study habits, your time management, your clubs, everything, then I promise you, nobody else in college is going to help you. Like, when you get to college, it's your responsibility to take care of yourself, plan yourself. Like, you need to take responsibility, and putting God first is the most important thing you can do. I'll be honest, I struggled with that a lot my freshman year, because I would find myself very busy and I wouldn't feel like praying or reading my Bible or telling anyone about Jesus. I would just feel like going through the motions, getting everything else I wanted to get done. And if I had extra time, I would read my Bible maybe, or pray a little bit. But I promise you, Matthew 6:33, seek first his kingdom, put God first, and everything else will be added. Make time for God. You have to make time for him, because your natural self doesn't want to make time for God. It only wants to make time for the things you want. And sometimes prayer can be boring. Sometimes reading the Bible is not the most pleasurable thing you can be doing in the moment, but it is the most important. And your time with God is essential, because your relationship with God is what we're created for. Like, that's true fulfillment and purpose. And so, yes, the last tip, but the most important, Put God first. So yeah, those are things I learned my freshman year of college, things I wish I knew before I headed into my freshman year of college. Hopefully it helps any of you guys. If you guys learned anything from this video or plan to do any of these, put them in the comments so I know what stuck to you guys and what actually helped you guys. If you enjoyed this episode and tips I gave about my freshman year of college, I just released an episode on my podcast about 10 tips for Christians in college. So if you want to learn more, definitely check out that episode of my podcast. I'll put it in the description for you guys. But yeah, thank you for watching this episode. God loves you. Stay blessed.